Babe, wait, stop. Let me tell you something. This is not going to be a funny intro. It's not funny. It's not. I just got something to say. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I just want to say it. I feel like more people would be happy in the workplace if we learned how to match the how we do our job with who we are, our personality and our characters. Let me explain. You see, in life, we show people how we want them to treat us. And many times when we get into a new office, we just flow into things. We get into the way things are done. Instead of actually taking some time, stepping back, looking at the organization, looking at the culture, looking at everyone and thinking to ourselves, how best can I function here? What's the best way for me to work? For me to bring my value to the forefront? When it comes to a toxic work environment, sometimes it takes a small adjustment for that work environment to get better. And other times, it takes a complete change. But the best way for us to deal with a toxic work environment is for us to find out where does the toxicity lie and then deal with that. Sometimes it's just a snacks boss, just a seer, ugly, sour boss. And if you can just get rid of that guy, everyone will be happy.
I'm gonna try. Work till I die. I'm gonna fail and get up, 'cause I'm not giving up on my dream.
Hey gorgeous, and welcome to my channel. I'm Kopano Shimange, and this is How I Do Things, the show where you send me your questions and I'll let you know how I would do things. And I can take it as entertainment or use it as advice. Take it, don't take it. Use it, don't use it at all. Listen, do what you will with it. I'm just letting you know what I would do if I was in your shoes. Honeys, listen, I'm no professional. I'm no professional at all. This is not professional advice in any way, shape, or form. I'm just letting you know what I would do if I was in your shoes. Toxic work environments. Once upon a time, I was in work environments which I didn't really like that much, but I pushed through, I made it through, and eventually left. Clearly, looking back in hindsight, I'm just like, that was actually a toxic work environment. I didn't know what was wrong, but I just felt it in here. I'm not happy here. I found it very hard to motivate myself in this one work environment, and no amount of TD Jakes, no amount of motivation, nothing could help me work. I went and did the Myers-Briggs test. I found out what type of personality I have. And even after I did that, I was just like, meh, what am I supposed to do about this information? There's so many things that we have to consider when it comes to a toxic work environment. Simply put, there are two things that we have to look at. Firstly, where's the source of this toxicity? And then secondly, what are we going to do about it? Now that we know what the source of our toxicity is, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to cope and deal with this toxic work environment? So this video is split into two. The first, the 10 signs of a toxic work environment, and the second, what to do and how to deal with toxic work environments and toxic people. That will be coming up next week. But today, let's get into the things that we have to look for to find out, how is this place toxic for me? Number one, bad communication. This happens a lot. There's nothing worse than working at a place and you never know what's going on. It's just like, what's happening? What did we say? Do you know what we're supposed to do? And it's just like, can there not be one consistent message being sent out fully with all the instructions, bullet point what has to happen after something is done, after a task is being given? People have different messages. One person understands this and another person understands that. There's passive-aggressive communication where it's just like a person, you ask them, yo, what are the details? What do I need to know? And it's like you're irritating them for asking. You should know, but you don't know. And when you ask, it's like you've just set off a bomb in the office. Things have to be solved and done outside of the work hours, outside of the workplace, constantly receiving emails, communication, WhatsApps, just to get a task done. This can be extremely frustrating because you don't know what's going on and you don't know what to do. And that limbo and uncertainty can cause a toxic environment to erupt. Number two, bad attitudes. This can come from any direction. Any direction. It can be the person sitting next to you, it can be your boss, it can be your colleagues. But there's a negative attitude that flows around where it's kind of okay for people to be a bit nasty in the office, where it's not picked out, it's not weeded out, and you kind of have to just grow a tough skin, because if you're working, you're a grown-up. Deal with it. But negative and bad attitudes in the workplace that are allowed to fly often do affect people. Some people are more sensitive to negative attitudes while other people just aren't. But bad attitudes that are allowed to fester in the environment can cause sour spots. And if you're close to that sour spot, it can drain you and make you feel like this work environment is a source of pain for me. Number 3, groups, cliques, and gossip. The water cooler type of situation where people tend to gather at certain places or at a specific cubicle. I've had that before, where these group of girls always get together, they're always laughing. It looks like they don't have any work to do, but it's that group of people. There's gossip. Who is doing what? What is happening there? And rumors tend to spill because of this clique and group situation. This can be quite toxic because it either makes you feel left out. The group can have a specific effect on the office. They carry an energy, and everywhere where they go and gossip flows, negative energy flows and follows too. Not a great place to be, doesn't feel great, kind of feels like high school, and we've grown up and now we're in the workplace, but that same attitude and that same mentality can follow because of that group activity or that group culture. Number 4, ego-led leadership. This is difficult. When you have a leader who just feels as though you always have to tell them that they're right, you always have to agree with them, and you always have to make them look good. Can be extremely frustrating when you don't have a give and take relationship with your management or with your leaders, where you feel as though I can't say anything, I can't correct them, we can't work together on this thing. He says what he has to do and we all have to just follow suit. Makes you feel stifled. It makes you feel like you're just there to stroke someone's ego. A lot of the times the fish rots from the head, and you'll find that there's a leader who wants to do things his own way, doesn't listen to his people, does not take anyone's opinions into consideration, may have favoritism, may even have a thing against a specific group and treats people differently. This is extremely exhausting and makes you feel like you can't do anything. This is your boss. This is your leader. What are you supposed to do? Who do you complain to? Will they listen to you, or will they just take the leader's side? This is extremely frustrating and definitely a source of toxicity. Number 5, is there an energy in the office where everybody kind of feels demotivated? Everybody's just like, yeah. Everyone just kind of gets to the office and you feel it, but everyone feels the same. Gotta go to work. I don't like being here. And you get to the office like, no, it's fine. You know, it's almost 5, we'll leave. That's not a nice place to work, where there's no excitement that comes around, where there's nothing great, where no one can get motivated, but the general feel in the office is just, what time do I have to leave? I'm just serving my time. This demotivation spreads into the rest of your life, and it just feels like you've been locked up, like you're in a jail. And this is extremely difficult for you to continue going in this type of work environment and to feel like you're growing in some sort of way. This is usually connected to number 6, which is high employee turnaround, where people come in and people go out. A lot of the times when you're in a demotivated environment where there's no energy where you work, many people are just like, I have to leave this place. Where everybody feels like, I have to leave this place. I'm applying to here, I'm applying to there, I have to leave. It just feels like you can't stay. If you stay, you're stupid. It could be a great company, but it could feel like it's a jail. Like it's a place where you just come and you serve your time and you go home. And everybody who's there is just looking for greener pastures somewhere else. The grass is not green here. No one ever sees it that way. This is just a sign. Something's up, something's off, something's going on. And you're not the only one who can feel it. There's something about this place that just makes people feel as though they can't stay and they have to go. What is it? Number 7 is extremely frustrating, stifled growth. Where you know, I have what it takes to become the leader of this group. I have what it takes to move to the next level, but you know it's not going to happen. It seems strange, but I know this has happened to many people. And for those who are ambitious enough to go and ask that, listen, I'd really like to be put in the plans in this company, that moving forward, I'd love to move up with this company. I'd love to be put into the plan of growth, the succession plan that I would like to be next. Or tell me, what do I have to do to be next? And you can tell that by the response, that by those who are making those succession plans, that you can't and won't ever be in those plans. No matter what you do, no matter how you grow, no matter what questions you ask, even if you want mentorship, it just isn't an option for you. It's happened to many people, many women. And this has been the reason why many people just move to somewhere else, where they know that they can grow. Stifled growth is exhausting, especially if you're a hardworking, ambitious woman who has plans to move up in the organization or in the industry you're in. But you know that if I stay here, that growth is not going to happen. It's extremely demotivating. And if you want to leave and go to the next place, it may even affect your transition, because here, things don't look good, even though I know I'm good at my job. Moving somewhere else may be difficult because of the influence I have here. Number 8, personal life intrusion, where there's no line being crossed between work hours and non-work hours, where it's the type of job where it's an expectation that you should work when you get home, where you are supposed to answer the phone even after work hours. We don't care if you go to church, we don't care if you're going out on a Friday night. If your boss calls, you answer. When there's an email, even on the weekend, you answer. There's an expectation for off hours work. Now it's different if you work the type of job where that is a norm, where you work in events or you work in a job that you know that you are always on the clock. However, there are other workplaces where you should be able to leave your work at the office. You know it can be done. However, no one cares. Everybody gets into your personal life, and that is extremely frustrating. And you know, in other offices, at other organizations, this type of life intrusion does not happen. But where I am here, my personal life does not matter. That is the worst. It becomes toxic because you can't switch off. Everybody needs to take a step back, have a breather, and this can also make you better at the job that you are doing. But now, every single time, ring, ring, answer the phone, do the work now. It's extremely frustrating. You can't switch off, you can't recharge, and you feel like you're always running. And that's exhausting. Number 10, when your work leads to constant burnout and constant breakdowns, where it is normal that the pace that we work at here, the way that we do things here is fast-paced. Keep up or fall out, girl. That is a toxic work environment, and something has to change. There needs to be a balance of workload. There needs to be a way that you can find enough support for you to handle your work without having to break down or suffer from burnout every single time you get everything done. Now, the burnout can come from different reasons. It can be because you have too much workload, or it can be because you feel like you're working against yourself. If you know that you're the type of person who works well in isolation, however you are forced to work in groups, this can be extremely draining and frustrating for you. It feels like you're working against your personality. You know how best you work, however you are forced to work in a way that's different. And that way burns you out. It makes you feel tired and it leads to a breakdown. It can also be because things are still. They're not moving, and constant work drama, things are always going on in the office, but you don't feel like you're moving forward. This is emotionally draining and can make you feel stuck. What's going on? How can I change this? Why do I feel like this? Am I strange? You're not. Could be from your work environment. And number 10, the biggest sign of them all, emotional turmoil. When you just can't feel settled at all. You don't know what it is, you don't know why, but you can't feel settled at this workplace. You don't see office gossip, your bosses are cool, but there's just something about you at this workplace that makes you feel completely off. Looking back, I've had huge emotional turmoil because of my workplace. Don't know what it was. I love the industry I worked with, but I was facing huge emotional turmoil in that position at that workplace. It could have been caused by a string of other things. the type of work that I was doing, micromanagement. It could be a whole lot of things, but it caused emotional turmoil. Sometimes it's not that easy to pinpoint the source of toxicity in your workplace. However, emotional turmoil is a big sign that you need that something has to change. Whew, honeys, this Boss Moves Monday is a bit heavy. However, I hope that it helps. I hope that it helps you to find out what it is that's making you feel off in the workplace so that you can start to find a solution. Work your way out of it, work your way around it, and deal with it. Next week, Monday, we're going to look at the ways that you can cope and deal with a toxic work environment so you can start to change things for yourself, so you can start to enjoy your work. Until next week, beautiful people, thank you for liking this video, thank you for subscribing and sharing this with a friend. I'm Kopano Shimange, and this is How I Do Things. Hey gorgeous, thank you so much for watching and thank you for making it right until the end. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please click on this button right here and feel free to binge watch. Head over to my website, www.kopanoshimage.com, to get my journal, her daily success journal, to help you to have those personal check-ins, to make you feel a little better, for you to pick up on the things that you need to change in your life. It's a transformational journal. You should check it out. Until next time, toodles.